Good morning, Dr. Charles Sefcik here at the Life Enhancement Clinic. In this video, I want to go through phase two of the 6 phases of homotoxicology. We talked about phase one in the last video. That was the excretion phase. And today's phase we're going to discuss is phase two, the reaction phase. Now, when your body is not able to keep up with the amounts of metabolic acid and toxins you're exposed to, and the excretion pathways aren't working appropriately, your body will react by doing one of two things. It will either inflame or it will infect, or it will do both. But basically, inflammation and infection are your body's ways to try to clear out the debris. So think about that burn barrel in your backyard. If the trash gets too great, you're going to burn off the extra residue and the extra waste products, and you're going to get the fire burning hotter, and you'll have an inflammatory component in your body to try to burn up that extra debris. Now, we can measure for inflammation using a variety of different tests in the office. The most well known, perhaps, is the high sensitive C reactive protein. Now, that marker should be 0.8 or less. If it's above 0.8, there is systemic inflammation going on, and that would be a key indicator that you want to identify what's producing the inflammation and then also resolve what is producing that inflammation. Since inflammation has been linked to every disease condition that we know of and we study. Urinary levels of nitrates can also indicate an inflamed state. And so when we look at an Integra profile here in our office, we can identify that. And also uric acid levels, if these are elevated, are good indicator signs of inflammatory markers. And so making sure that you're not inflamed is important, but also making sure you're not infected. Now, you can look at infection on a standard complete blood cell count, a CBC, that you get from your medical doctor. And you can look at the breakdown of your white blood cell differentials. And one of the things I look at first when I go through a complete blood count is I look at the red blood cell, I look at the MCV and the RDW and these things. But for an immune aspect, I look at the percentage of neutrophils, and I look at the percentage of lymphocytes, and I look at the percentage of eosinophils. Now, eosinophil levels, when they get above a 3%, really start to make you think of three things: food sensitivity, heavy metals, or parasitic infection. So, especially when that eosinophil level gets above a 7, we really want to consider parasite infection. Now, again, immune can actually be activated when your excretion pathways don't work. That means your body will allow bad bacteria or bad fungus or bad parasites to actually overgrow and overtake. Now, this is a key point to understand. All of us have bacteria, all of us have fungus, all of us have parasites. It's when these are allowed to thrive and overgrow, and when these are allowed to not be controlled by the good bacteria in our gut, and these are allowed to overtake because of the high levels of inflammation, that they become a problem. Parasites and bad bugs and bad fungus do not live in environments that they're not allowed to live in. Meaning this: if you have dead cell tissues and your cells are being destroyed because of inflammation and poor excretion, you're going to give them a lot of debris to live on, and you're going to give them a lot of things to eat and stay healthy on. So you don't want to do that. So also look at the immune aspect. I really like looking at a salivary marker called secretory IgA. Now, that is the primary immune defense of our intestines, and it's kind of like the antiseptic coat that is on the inner membrane of our gut, that actually serves as that first line of defense from parasites and toxins and bad bugs getting into our we ingest and get into our gut. Now, the majority of your immune system resides in your gut, and stress plays an important component in reducing those levels of secretory IgA. So I like to look at that marker on saliva testing to see where that's at. So with immune and inflammation, these two things are pretty important. If the excretion pathway isn't working appropriately, phase two is to naturally go and try to get rid of the extra debris by working out with an inflammatory response or an infective process. And obviously, that can lead to other degeneration, that can lead to other problems, and that will lead to deposition of toxins, which we're going to discuss in phase three. So, recapping: phase one is excretion, phase two is reaction, which is inflammation or infection. You don't want to go down this pathway. But if you're going down, this is phase 2 of the 6 steps of homotoxicology. I hope this is beneficial. I hope the blog post is beneficial. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. You guys have a great day.